You don't go from eating an unhealthy diet to eating a healthy diet and being a healthy person from one day to the next. It takes work, effort, focus, and improving is a byproduct of doing the work. So measure your progress and your success based off of those things. Do not be in a rush. Do not just hyper focus on, I'm only doing this to lose 5 pounds. This external goal that once you reach, I promise you won't be that happy. And then that goalpost just shifts anyways. I think it's perfectly fine to have external goals. We all have them. I have them, but I am not solely motivated and I'm not solely fulfilled by those external goals. The more I think about this stuff, I am truly fulfilled by living the lifestyle that I live on a daily basis. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Dr. Joey Munoz Show, your go-to podcast for all things health, nutrition, and fitness. I'm your host, Dr. Joey, Nutrition Sciences Ph.D. and founder of Fit for Life Academy. Okay, today I am recording this episode completely off the top of my head, no script whatsoever. So I apologize first and foremost if I go in a million different directions, which I probably will. But I was going for a walk this morning and was really thinking about a couple things. The idea for this podcast was sparked by another podcast that I was listening to yesterday, which I'll talk about in a second. And I felt compelled to come back home and record this because all of these thoughts were just stirring in my mind. Anyways, pretty provocative title to this podcast, right? Your goals are preventing you from succeeding. What the hell does that even mean? And truthfully, this idea came from a podcast episode that I was listening to yesterday by none other than Alex Hormozi. So for those of you that are unaware of who Alex Hormozi is, he's a really successful entrepreneur and he makes content for other entrepreneurs to help them succeed with their businesses. And he said something in this podcast episode that really struck home with me. And it's something that I've always thought about, but he framed it so eloquently. And what he said is that the work is the goal. Okay. The work is the goal. What the hell does that mean, anyways? And what does it have to do with this podcast episode? Well, to answer those questions, let me give you a little bit of background regarding Alex Hormozi and his philosophies and how that translates to the phrase, the work is the goal, and what does that even mean for your health and fitness goals? I promise you I'm going to tie everything together here if you just stick with me for a couple of minutes, okay? So Alex Hormozi is famously known for working ridiculously long hours, okay? So he is somebody who works from the moment he wakes up pretty much till the moment he goes to sleep when he just feels burnt out. And it's not because he has to work, right? It's because he truly enjoys his work. And one of the questions that he gets asked often is like, what do you think about work-life balance and all of this stuff? And he pretty much just says that he thinks it's stupid, which I think is a bit of an exaggeration. But his whole philosophy when it comes to life is that you should just do what you enjoy doing. Right? And for him, he enjoys working. And since he enjoys working, that's why he has the tremendous success that he has when it comes to business, right? And so I think this ties very, very nicely to health and fitness. And I think it's one of the main reasons why people struggle to achieve their health and fitness related goals. Okay. So what does this mean? The work is the goal. All right. And I strongly believe in this phrase. Here's what it means. So how do most people set goals? And this is one of the things that Alex talks about in his podcast episode as well. Most of us tend to set goals outside of ourselves, right? Extraneous goals. When it comes to business, it's, if I make $100,000 in a year, or if I make six figures. When it comes to fitness, if I lose 20 pounds, if I gain 5 pounds of muscle. We set these goals that are outside of ourselves as a measuring stick for our success, and then we work toward that goal, right? And we assume that when we reach this goal, we will be happy. We will be successful. Will have fulfilled all of our desires, and we will be happy. And this is where it's essentially a trap, right? Because the funny thing is that when you achieve the particular goal, the goalpost just shifts. If you think about this for a second, you have probably already achieved goals that you thought would make you happy, right? Think about that. You've probably already achieved goals that you thought would make you happy. And what happened? Probably some momentary happiness, and then that goalpost shifts. I know I've experienced this in my personal life, particularly with my business, right? I remember when I left graduate school and I finished my PhD, um, I didn't go the traditional career route of staying in academia and becoming a professor because for many reasons, which I've recorded podcast episodes on this, I didn't feel aligned with that particular career choice. And so I decided to do this whole online coaching thing. And I was working with Team Bioline at first. And I remember thinking like, man, if I could make $80,000 in a year, I'll be very happy. And I did that. I did that my first year. And what happened? That goalpost shifted to 100,000, and that goalpost shifted. And I'm I'm relatively young, right? I'm only 30 years old, but I've realized that like that goalpost always shifts, right? And what's really really important is that you enjoy the process, because if you don't enjoy the process, you're not going to stick with it long enough to see the success that you want to achieve. But the same comes down to health and fitness. I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to lose 20 pounds. And the focus is so strongly on this extraneous goal that when you reach it, you don't know what to do because you've only been doing the things that you need to do to get to that goal for the sole reason of achieving the goal, right? And so when you just do stuff for a particular extraneous reason, right? Again, achieving a goal that's outside of yourself, and you're just focused on the outcome. You're not focused on the process at all. You're going to burn out, right? Some people sooner than later, but there's going to be burnout because there's no intrinsic motivating factors that keep you doing the thing that you should be doing long term to achieve, but also maintain those goals long term, right? What Alex Hormozy says, one of the biggest contributing factors to his success in business is the fact that he just focuses on working. He enjoys working. Some of his happiest and most enjoyable days are when he's been the most productive and he's exhausted at the end of the day and he's proud of the work he's done. And when I was listening to this, I was really reflecting on my own life. And I realized that there's a lot of commonalities between the way that he approaches business and the way that I approach work as well, and the way that I approach health and fitness. If you asked me, hey, Joey, if if you never gained an ounce of muscle in the gym or looked any better or got any stronger in the gym, would you continue lifting weights? Would you continue eating healthy? Would you continue prioritizing your sleep and doing all the stuff that you do every single day to improve your overall health and body composition? And the answer, like without even thinking about it, is absolutely yes. Why? Because these things give me joy, right? I love doing these things. I love the process. I love being able to go to the gym and put in an hour or two of training, hard training every day. That makes me feel filled. That makes me feel happy. I love preparing healthy meals, knowing that it's positively impacting my health and I'm doing something that's helping me live a long and healthy life so that when I'm 60, 70, 80 years old, I'm not sick. I don't need to be on a ton of medications. Or, I mean, genetics obviously play a role, but I'm minimizing my risk of disease as I age. These things make me happy. I'm not doing it for just an external goal, right? I'm not eating healthy and going to the gym just to lose 20 pounds. Because if that was the goal, what the hell do I do when I lose 20 pounds? What's the next goal? Losing another 20 pounds, right? You can only lose so much weight. Like in business, I guess it's slightly different because you can always continue trying to improve like business revenue and all that stuff. But when it comes to body composition, like you can only build so much muscle, you can only lose so much body fat, you can only do so much, right? So when you achieve those goals, what do you do next? And it's funny. It's funny because most people don't think about health and fitness from that perspective. Most people who start their health and fitness journey do it for some sort of external goal. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm also a big believer that external goals are really strong motivating factors, but it's important over time to transition from being externally to internally motivated, right? And really doing things because they provide deep fulfillment and happiness. They, at your core, make you a happier person. And that's really when there's alignment between who you are as a person and the things that you're trying to do. right? Because oftentimes I hear people say that like healthy people are very motivated. Healthy people are very disciplined. And yes, there is an aspect of hard work and discipline and motivation, undoubtedly. I don't wake up every single day motivated to work. There are days where I don't want to do anything. I still get to work, right? Like that's, I guess you could call that discipline. But the truth is that most healthy people live a healthy lifestyle because they enjoy it, because they are healthy people, right? Like they enjoy living a healthy lifestyle. Trust me, if they absolutely hated living a healthy lifestyle, they'd be way more unlikely to actually do the stuff that they need to do on a daily basis. So the goal is to shift your mindset, to shift the way you view the stuff that you do, um, from simply being like the reason why you do it is to achieve an external goal to the reason why you do it is because you enjoy doing it. You enjoy doing the day-to-day stuff. And when you enjoy doing the day-to-day stuff, ironically, you achieve the external goals easily. And you typically progress much more than other people who are just externally motivated because you stick with the things that you need to stick with for long enough to see the progress that you want to see. And then you're not even really motivated by the goal, right? Like, for example, and this is one thing Alex Hormozy talks about. Like, what he always says is that with his company, he's trying to build a $1 billion portfolio company, which is, I guess, an external goal. And then people ask him, like, well, what do you do when you achieve the $1 billion? And he's like, just change it to 10 billion or to 100 billion. Like, to him, that doesn't matter, right? It's just marketing. It's just how he says what he's doing because he's going to keep working and growing the thing that he's growing indefinitely until he dies. And then he says he's just going to give it away and that's it. Because he's just fulfilled by the process of seeing progress in what he's doing in his business. He is fulfilled by being present every single day by doing his work. And if you could get to that point with anything that you're working on, I was going to say with health and fitness, but really with anything, but in particular health and fitness, since that's what we're talking about here, that is how you stick to the things you need to stick to long enough to see the results that you're trying to see. Okay? Because check it out. Getting really good at anything, being really good at business, being really good at, or having really good relationships, or being in fantastic shape. It takes work, guys. It takes a ridiculous amount of work, right? Something I tell my clients is like, hey, if you start working with me, we're going to start towards achieving or start making progress towards achieving your goals. But this journey is going to take you 10 years, right? Like transforming your body takes a long time. So how do you actually stick with it for that long? By enjoying it. Now, the the harder question is like, how do you get to enjoy things that perhaps you don't enjoy doing, right? This is the stickier question. And the truth is that I don't have a direct answer. But I am a big believer that the longer you stick with things and the more you see positive returns from the thing that you're doing, how it positively influences your life, motivation slowly shifts from external to internal. I'm a big believer in that. And I've seen this numbers of times with my clients where they first start working with me and they don't like working on different nutritional habits and they don't really enjoy training, but they stick with it because they have a particular external goal. And the more they work on it, the more they start to realize that they're enjoying it. And then they get to the point where it's like, man, I don't even really care if I don't lose weight. Like, I've learned so much about this training stuff and I see how good it makes me feel and how happy it makes me feel and how good it makes my body feel and how well I move and how strong I feel. And those things are enough, right? And those are all internal motivating factors. Now, one thing that Alex Hormozy brings up in his podcast that I think is really helpful, and I think it's something that people can somewhat implement immediately, is that he believes that happiness comes from being present in whatever it is that you do. And this just isn't something that I've ever verbalized or thought about in this way, but I agree with wholeheartedly. He was like, I'm happy doing this podcast right now. I'm present. I'm doing this. I'm happy doing this. I'm fulfilled doing this. I feel the same way, right? I'm present in the moment, thinking about the things that I'm going to be saying, and recording this podcast makes me feel happy and fulfilled. I'm present in the moment. If I'm spending time with my son, being present in the moment and being fully involved with him makes me happy. If I'm in the gym and I'm focused on my workout and I'm present during my workout, in other words, my mind isn't somewhere else, I'm present in what I'm doing, it makes me happy. And happiness really comes from being present in the things that you're doing, right? And this concept ties so well to this whole idea of external goals, because when we have external goals, oftentimes, or when we do things solely for an external goal, oftentimes we're not present in what we're doing, right? For example, if you're eating a low calorie meal because you want to lose weight, you're not present in the moment enjoying the meal. Um, and this is kind of a silly example now that I'm thinking about it, because how present can you be while you're eating a meal? I mean, it takes 5 or 10 minutes eating a meal, but like being present, preparing your food, thinking about what you're going to be eating, how it's going to positively impact your health, enjoying the process of learning how to prepare a healthy meal, eating healthy food, minimizing highly processed food consumption. Like being present in those moments helps you enjoy the process of being a healthy person, right? Instead of just thinking like, hey, I'm eating this because I want to lose 5 pounds, and then waking up the next day and you're not 5 pounds lighter and you're not happy, right? Because you're not present in the things that you're doing. You're simply doing things for an external goal. So while you're doing the things that you should be present doing, you're just thinking about that external goal. For example, with work, if I'm just focused on making a certain amount of money, I'm not enjoying the process on a daily basis. I'm not enjoying thinking about different marketing strategies and how I can improve my business, and thinking about how I can best serve my clients, and thinking about how I can best serve my audience, and enjoying doing this podcast here and doing it for the sake of doing it because it brings me internal fulfillment, not for the sake of like, hey, doing this is going to make people want to buy my products more. And like, if it doesn't, it makes me unhappy, right? Because here's the thing, when we measure happiness or progress simply based off of an external goal, if we don't make objective progress towards that external goal on a daily basis, we kind of disregard all the hard work that we're doing, right? Maybe you're putting a ton of effort into staying active. Maybe you're putting a ton of effort into learning about nutrition, into resistance training. You're busting your ass in the gym. You're doing all these things. You're putting in the hard work. But you wake up tomorrow and for some reason you're a pound heavier. And all the work that you put in over the past week or the past couple days, like you just have these negative feelings and emotion around them, right? You're not really happy about the work you've put in because you're only measuring happiness based off of that external goal. Whereas this is something that I like to talk to my clients about is you should measure your progress and your happiness based off of how successfully you're doing the things that you should be doing on a daily basis, right? So, hey, are you putting effort towards eating healthy? Fantastic. Are you putting effort towards being more active and having a daily step goal and going outside for a walk? Fantastic. Are you putting effort towards learning how to resistance train properly and how to perform exercises and how to get stronger? Fantastic. If you are doing those things, fantastic. It doesn't matter if in the short term you're not making objective progress towards an outcome. Let's say it's weight loss or building muscle, whatever it is. Why? Because as I mentioned, one, this stuff takes a long ass time to get good at. And two, progress is not linear, right? And three, there is a huge learning curve. So as long as you're putting the effort towards doing these things on a daily basis, celebrate those wins. Those are wins. Those are the most important wins. Because if you're putting effort, it means that you're also focusing. And if you're putting effort and focusing on the things that you should be on a daily basis, that means that as a byproduct, you're going to get better and you're going to improve, right? You don't go from eating an unhealthy diet to eating a healthy diet and being a healthy person from one day to the next. It takes work, it takes effort, it takes focus. And improving is a byproduct of doing the work, of being focused, of putting forth the effort. So measure your progress and your success based off of those things. And if you are doing those things, celebrate those things. Those are wins. You should be happy and content with the fact that you're doing the things that you should be doing on a daily basis. And you should feel fulfilled by the things that you're doing on a daily basis. Do not be in a rush. Do not just hyper focus on, man, I'm only doing this to lose 5 pounds. I'm only doing this for this external goal that once you reach, I promise you won't be that happy anyways. And then that goalpost just shifts anyways. And keep in mind, guys, I think it's perfectly fine to have external goals. We all have them. I have them. I have a number of external goals. But I am not solely motivated and I'm not solely fulfilled by those external goals. I'm actually not really fulfilled by those external goals at all. The more I think about this stuff, I am truly fulfilled by living the lifestyle that I live on a daily basis, right? If much of my life didn't change, even if I put forth the amount of effort that I do, I would probably still do very, very similar things every day for the rest of my life because I enjoy it, right? Um, it's funny because Alex talks about this too. Like, oftentimes people do other things like, let's say, things that give you immediate pleasure that are self-destructive, right? So things when it comes to health and fitness, like going out on the weekend, staying up till 3 in the morning and drinking alcohol and getting drunk. Um, doing that, maybe once a week, maybe multiple times per week. And when you ask people like, why do you do that? They think it's because it makes them happy. And the truth is that and this is, I have to give credit to Alex for this because it's so beautifully put, it's that people confuse happiness and fulfillment for pleasure. And they're not the same thing, right? And most of these things give you some sort of immediate pleasure, but almost always they are detrimental to your long-term goals, right? So obviously, like, hey, if I go out tonight and I drink and I have fun, like, yeah, it's fun. I'm gonna have a great time. And I do those things every once in a while because I'm not a robot, right? But there are people that overdo these things to mask other unhappinesses. That's not even a word. Or other things that they are unhappy with in their own lives, right? And instead of doing the work and being fulfilled by the things that they should be doing, they divert that or they mask that with these other activities that give short-term pleasure that don't actually provide any sort of long-term happiness whatsoever. And so happiness doesn't come from these short-term acute pleasures that are derailing us long-term from achieving the things that we are meant to achieve in life, right? And I do think it takes a lot of discipline and self-awareness to understand, like, hey, those things aren't really doing much for me. And doing this, what I would call, or some people would call, boring work on a daily basis is what's actually really fulfilling. And getting to the point where you are present and fulfilled by the work that you do on a daily basis um, is such a key component to long-term success and also long-term happiness. And so the reason why I titled this episode, Your Goals Are Preventing You from Succeeding, is because most people just set external goals, right? So going back to what I was saying before about my particular lifestyle, like most people would say that I live a very boring life. And I do, I agree. When I was in college, I was the complete opposite. I was wild. I was always going out. I was always drinking. I was partying. And like, I remember, and I was young. I've never dealt with like depression or being really sad or anything like that. But like, I never really felt super happy or fulfilled in my life. And like, I didn't really have much direction. Also, I was 18 to 20, like pretty young. But I'm a completely different person now. So I go to sleep by 9:30 every day. Why? Because my sleep's important to me and I want to be able to wake up early. I usually wake up between 6 and 6:30 so that I can prioritize my work. Around 6:30, make some coffee, get to my desk. I usually work from about 7 till about 9:30. Then I go to the gym from 9:30 till about 11 or 11:30. That's about 2 hours. I come home, I take a quick shower, and then I sit on my desk from about noon or 11:30 or noon till about 5 p.m. straight doing work. I finish my work day at 5 p.m. Then I hang out with my family for about 2.5 hours. Around 7:30, we start putting our bed to sleep. Not our bed to sleep. That doesn't make any sense. Our baby to sleep. He's usually asleep by 8:30, which gives me and my wife an hour to hang out. We'll watch some Netflix. We'll talk. Maybe we'll play some board games. We'll chill. And then it's 9:30 and I go to sleep and I do it all over again the next day. And weekend schedules are a little bit different. Sunday's just family day, but that's my weekly schedule. And like, seems kind of boring, but I enjoy it. I love it, right? I love being able to sit at this desk and be fully present in the things that I'm doing and make progress uh, with my business, right? With my social media stuff, with my podcast, with helping my clients achieve their goals. It's really rewarding. I wouldn't trade this for anything. I love spending a couple hours with my son. Like that's time I could go out to a bar and have some drinks, but like that doesn't mean anything, right? Spending time with my son and like playing with him and seeing how he views the world. My son's only a year and a half old, by the way, and like it's so fulfilling, right? Going to the gym for an hour and a half. Sometimes people would say that's too long, but like going to the gym and busting my ass physically and seeing my body get stronger and be more capable, that's so fulfilling. And nothing makes me happier that I've been able to get to this point where the daily grind, the daily work is what makes me happy, right? And Sometimes to a fault, because I'll go on vacation with my family, and this is something I definitely need to get better at. But like if I go on a trip or I go on vacation, like I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I love going on vacation. I love traveling. But after 2 or 3 days, like I really start to miss my routine. I'm like, man, I want to go home. I want to be able to sleep in my own bed. I want to be able to work the way that I like to. I can't get my mind off of work. I want to be able to go to the gym. And I think that's a really important point for most people to get to. Not to get to the point where you don't enjoy vacation, but to really enjoy the things you do on a daily basis, guys. So if you have some health and fitness related goals and you're working towards those things and you're just like in a rush and all you want to do is achieve this goal and achieve this goal, and maybe it's lose 20 pounds and that's all you're waiting for, I urge you to really work on shifting your mindset and really start to enjoy the things you do on a daily basis to achieve that goal, and be present while you do them. Right? Be present while you prepare your food. Be present while you eat your healthy meals. Be present while you go to the gym. Don't just think like, man, I'm doing this so I can burn some more fat, because that's not going to make you happy. And that's not going to keep you in the race long enough to have long-term success. Because truth be told, everybody's goal, especially this one is very specific to health and fitness. Your goal is not to lose weight. Your goal is, let's say if it's weight loss, it's to lose weight and maintain it, right? You want to develop a lean, fit, muscular body, and you want to maintain that for the rest of your life. And if you want to maintain it for the rest of your life, you got to do this stuff the rest of your life, right? The daily habits. Because your body composition is just a reflection of your daily habits. So whatever you do to get healthy, you have to keep doing for the rest of your life. And if you're going to keep doing it for the rest of your life, you better learn how to enjoy it. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap this up here because I feel like I'm being super repetitive now. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode so far. By the way, if you need some guidance and help along your health and fitness journey, make sure to check out our group coaching membership, the Fit for Life Academy. The link is going to be down in the description. We help our clients develop a healthy and sustainable lifestyle when it comes to nutrition and exercise to help them achieve their health and the body composition related goals. And again, as you can tell, we're hyper focused on health and sustainability, because the last thing we want to do is give you another quick fix, another quick solution that doesn't actually work long term. So if you want to be part of a kick-ass community of people working towards the common goal of becoming the best version of themselves, and you want to work directly with me and my team and hop on live coaching calls on a weekly basis with myself to get feedback and guidance, make sure to check us out. Again, it's fitforlifeacademy.health/membership, and that is the number 4, not the word 4 in Fit for Life. And the link is going to be down in the description. If you've been listening to me rambling for this long, and you're a regular listener of the podcast, you know I always ask you guys for just one thing, which is to rate the podcast and leave a review. I say this every podcast, and nobody ever does it, rarely. And truth be told, guys, this helps me more than anything. It takes you guys just a second, and it's a way to help and support me. So please, if you enjoy the podcast, just rate the podcast on whatever app you're listening to it on, and leave a review as well. It really does help me a ton. It helps me reach more people and spread the message of living a healthy lifestyle. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll catch you next week. See ya.